Imagine being a teenager who doesn't quite belong anywhere. A new country, a new language you're still learning to master, a face that looks different from everyone around you in the hallways, a name that teachers stumble over. This was the reality for a young boy born in East Germany, the son of a Bangladeshi research scientist father and a German research scientist mother. Two brilliant minds who gave their child something even more valuable than intelligence. They gave him curiosity. When his family moved to the United States, he wasn't stepping into comfort. He was stepping into uncertainty, into a culture that wasn't his own, into a system that didn't yet know what he was capable of. And here is the first lesson, the one you need to hold on to right now, no matter where you are in your life. Feeling like an outsider is not a weakness. It is often the exact thing that gives you the perspective everyone else is missing. While other kids were busy fitting in, this boy was busy noticing things. He gravitated toward computers, toward technology, toward a world where it didn't matter what your accent sounded like or where your family came from. All that mattered was whether your ideas worked. He enrolled at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign to study computer science, and like so many people who go on to change the world, he was simply a student, sitting in lecture halls, absorbing knowledge, with absolutely no idea that he was being prepared for something massive. Then came the moment that defines so many great stories, the moment of risk. He left university to join a small, relatively unknown company called PayPal. Think about that for a second. Leaving a respected university degree behind to bet on a startup that most people had never heard of, that could have failed within months, that had every reason in the world to disappear into nothing. But he didn't choose safety. He chose belief. He chose to surround himself with brilliant, hungry people who were obsessed with solving real problems, and he became part of the team that built PayPal into one of the most important financial technology companies on the planet. When eBay acquired PayPal for over $1 billion, this young man, along with his colleagues, suddenly found themselves with something rare and dangerous: freedom, resources, and the terrifying question of, what now? Most people, when they reach a moment like this, retire. They relax. They coast on what they've already achieved. But not him. Because here's the truth about people who go on to do extraordinary things. Success is never the feared finish line for them. It's the starting gun for the next race. Around this time, he and a couple of his former PayPal colleagues, Chad Hurley and Steve Chen, kept running into the same frustrating problem over and over again. There was no easy way to share video on the internet. If you had a clip, a funny moment, a personal memory, a piece of footage you wanted the world to see, there was simply nowhere to put it. No platform built for it. No simple way to upload it, host it, and share it with a single link. And instead of complaining about the problem like everyone else did, they decided to become the solution. In February of 2005, in a small office above a pizza restaurant in San Mateo, California, with nothing but laptops, determination, and an idea that most people would have laughed at, they began building something new. No massive funding, no guarantee of success, no certainty that anyone would even care. Just 3 people who refused to accept "that's just how it is" as an answer. And on April 23, 2005, this man uploaded the very first video ever posted to this new platform, an 18-second clip of himself standing in front of elephants at the San Diego Zoo. It was awkward, it was simple, it was unpolished, and it didn't matter, because it wasn't about being perfect, it was about being first. It was about proving the concept could work. That single, humble, unglamorous video became the seed of something that would grow into one of the most powerful platforms in human history. A platform that you, right now, watching this, are using at this very moment. Within a year, this small idea exploded into a global phenomenon. Millions of people were uploading their voices, their talents, their stories, their lives. And in November of 2006, Google acquired this platform for $1.65 billion. From a teenager who didn't feel like he belonged, to one of the architects of a company that would reshape how every human being on Earth communicates, learns, laughs, and connects. That is not luck. That is what happens when you refuse to wait for permission to matter. Now here is what most people get wrong when they hear a story like this. They think it's about being lucky, or being in the right place at the right time, or knowing the right people. But that's the lazy explanation, and deep down, you already know it. The real story is about something far more powerful, Something that lives inside every single person watching this right now, including you. It's about the decision to act on an idea instead of just having it. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Millions of people had the exact same frustration about not being able to share videos online. Millions of people thought someone should build something for this. But thinking it changes nothing. Saying it changes nothing. The only thing that changes anything is doing it. Especially when you're scared. Especially when you don't have all the answers. Especially when the idea sounds small, or silly, or impossible. That first video, 18 seconds, standing in front of elephants, nothing fancy, nothing rehearsed, wasn't a masterpiece. It wasn't viral. It wasn't even particularly interesting. But it was real. And it was out there. And it existed in the world, instead of just existing in someone's head. And that is the difference between people who change their lives and people who spend their entire lives wondering what could have been. You don't need permission to start. You don't need approval. You don't need a perfect plan, a perfect product, a perfect script, or a perfect first attempt. You need to begin. Right now, somewhere in the world, there is a person sitting on an idea that could change their entire life. And they're waiting. Waiting until they feel ready. Waiting until they have more money, more time, more confidence, more followers, more of something. But readiness is a myth. Nobody who has ever built something extraordinary felt fully ready when they started. They started anyway, and they became ready in the process. Think about the kind of mindset it takes to walk away from a stable path, to bet on yourself and on people you trust, to build something from absolutely nothing, in a tiny office, with no guarantee that anyone in the world would care. That mindset isn't reserved for geniuses or for people born into privilege. It's built. It's a muscle. Every time you choose action over excuses, you strengthen it. Every time you choose discomfort over the illusion of safety, you strengthen it. Every time you show up even when you don't feel motivated, even when you're tired, even when a part of you whispers that you're not good enough yet, you strengthen it. And slowly, without even realizing it, you start becoming the kind of person capable of building something real. Look at where you are right now. Maybe you feel like an outsider in your own life, like you don't fit the mold, like your background or your circumstances or your starting point puts you at a disadvantage. Let that go, right now, today. Some of the most powerful innovations in human history were created by people who felt exactly the way you might be feeling. Different, underestimated, unseen. That feeling isn't your limitation. It's your fuel. It's the thing that will make you notice the gaps everyone else walks past without seeing. It's the thing that will make you build solutions other people never even thought to look for. The world doesn't remember the people who had perfect circumstances. The world remembers the people who took imperfect circumstances and refused to be defined by them. So here is your moment. Not someday. Not when things calm down. Not when you feel ready. Right now. Whatever idea you've been sitting on, the business, the channel, the skill, the goal, the dream you've been too afraid to say out loud, that idea is not too small, and you are not too late. Every massive platform, every successful brand, every life-changing invention started as a tiny, unimpressive first step that someone was brave enough to take while everyone else was still talking about it. Be the person who takes the step. Be the person who uploads the 18-second video while everyone else is waiting for the stoned, perfect moment that will never come. Because the truth is simple, and it's the truth this entire story has been building toward. Your background doesn't define your future, your fears don't define your potential, and your first attempt doesn't need to be impressive, it just needs to exist. Start today, start messy, start small, but start, because somewhere down the line, when you look back at this exact moment, you'll realize this was the day everything began to change. And the only difference between you and the people who build extraordinary things is that they decided not to wait. Don't wait. Begin now. And if this story lit something inside you, if even one part of it made you feel like you can do more than you're currently doing, then don't let that feeling fade. Subscribe, stay, and let's keep building that mindset together, one story at a time.